Bicycling is the best way to travel, and it's great exercise. But it's hard to find space for that big, bulky bike. In a way, with bike good, making space better. This bike changed for me. So I'm not gonna be working from the desk for this installment. I'm using the old selfie stick. Kind of an homage to the days before the pandemic when I took vlogging in crowds for granted. Yeah, there was no production design needed really for those projects. The texture in the scene came from the activity behind me. It was kind of like a tableau of blurred egos, each individual a respective universe reacting to me, or refusing to react to me, a fellow universe taking it upon itself to vlog in public. And yeah, I miss that. I miss a lot of things.
Past few days got me feeling a bit philosophical.
Yeah, a lot of the content I'm seeing online right now feels forced and rushed. And I hate to be the one to say that since I've been such a freak about my digital footprint the past decade. And I get it. You know, we're all hunkering down and watching our relevance shrivel to nothing, so we have to remind the world and ourselves that we exist. But let's face it, it might be good for some of us to be alone with ourselves for a bit, kind of confront the void inside of us. But I'm not optimistic as long as the grid is up and running that we will, because we're going to be glued to our screens, as if they don't make everything worse. And celebrities singing at us now, my God. And the thing with that is, I feel like if some of them had just slept on it one night, half of them would have opted out of that project and told Gal Gadot that she's not DJ Khaled. She cannot get away with these half-baked collabs. But you know, these days, we can make content like that before we have time to process what we're doing, and we can just make asses of ourselves. Did you see Michael Stipe parodying himself? Thing is, if you watch my videos and you think they're smart or whatever, know that I write all this down first, and then I film it, and as I film, I gauge whether what I'm saying sounds natural. If it doesn't, I drop it, or I merge takes in the edit. So there are plenty of steps to catch and rectify tastelessness. And the steps are tedious, but they strain the content down and they refine it. So, and that's the thing, content creators like me who not only see this as a craft, but who cling to it for self-worth, we find it a bit offensive when people who have earned their audiences in other fields just decide to lob shit online, willy-nilly. Okay? At least show us that you've put a little bit of thought into it, or make it entertaining at the very least. Yeah, I'm talking to you, Dan Wilson of Semisonic. I love the song Closing Time, but your Instagram feed is hot garbage.
Rules for writing pop hits are fine and dandy, as long as you're breaking them.
It's sophomoric as hell. And I don't generally use that term, sophomoric. I feel like it's a trap. I feel like only sophomoric people use the word sophomoric.
At some point in your music making, you're going to be faced with a decision between what you want to do and what you know is going to feel better for your audience.
And maybe I see through you because we're one and the same, but I hope to Christ not.
Are you planning to ask an audience to listen to this music?
Because you suck at content. You really suck at it. And
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I feel bad now. Yeah, things are stressful right. We're all a little tense. She belly dances and I bartend, so de Blasio's executive order cut off both sources of income, and probably just as vital, any reason for leaving the house, except to buy necessities. And I don't feel any symptoms, but I also don't feel like inadvertently killing anyone, pretending that I know anything, so. And it's hard because I feel ashamed in the apartment as well. Shaming is kind of Emily's coping mechanism through all of this, and she's good at it if she can work out an angle. And yeah, when I look into her eyes, I can kind of see the gears turning, and she's trying to figure out a way to pin this global pandemic on me. And yeah, I'm interested to see what she comes up with. Also, I see her questioning you know, whether she made a fatal error in choosing me as a mate because
Oh my
maybe
God,
she
you
thinks
done?
that
Are you done?
I can't
You
provide
shouldn't
for her
be
as well as
talking
she thought I
shit,
could.
dude. Like,
He who makes less severe distinctions and willingly abandons himself to imitative memories may under certain circumstances become a great improviser. But artistic improvisation ranks low in comparison with serious and laboriously chosen artistic thoughts. All great men were great workers, unwearied not only in invention but also in rejection of the human, transforming and arranging.
I suggested some austerity measures yesterday, and Emily pitched a fit, stormed out, bought some tiramisu and a bottle of Moscato. So if this is the real apocalypse, I don't think we're going to make it too long. What do you think? If it came to it, you think you'd be able to eat the neighbors?
huh?
Do you think you would be able to eat the neighbors if it came? We're joking. It was a joke. No, my point was I don't think Emily is going to allow us to live a Spartan lifestyle. And since I tend to go along to get along, I'm just going to have to die with her if it comes to that, I guess. Which, I don't know. Or, I don't know, maybe you ditch me for a rugged leader type who runs a fortified compound with a storehouse of luxuries, in which case
Okay,
I
bye,
could
bye.
live on
Can you go in your
as a
room
wandering
again?
ascetic.
Can you go in there?
And I would try to learn to like eating bugs because I wouldn't eat people. I wouldn't eat people. It was a joke. That was a post-apocalypse joke. People just... I know some people watching may be self-quarantining alone, and I feel for you, I do. Yeah, and I'm not saying that the grass isn't greener on my side, but you have to know that there are silver linings to being alone. Please use this time to cultivate your identity before you're subsumed in a partnership and every decision you make has to be filtered through another person. And if you're posting content, please, please, please consider making it entertaining at the very least. Otherwise, it's no better than G-rated latrinalia. Latrinalia is a word I just learned. It's the academic term for bathroom stall wall graffiti. I just read an old Atlantic piece, and apparently there was this study in 1965 by a folklorist named Alan Duns that suggested that we engage in latrinalia because we have a primitive smearing impulse stemming from our infancy, and that men are more drawn to it because we envy women's ability to rear children, which seems like a stretch, but Alan writes, for those who may be skeptical of the theory that the psychological motivation for writing latrinalia is related to an infantile desire to play with feces and to artistically smear it around, I would ask only that they offer an alternative theory. For those who doubt that the greater interest on the part of males in latrinalia is related to anal creativity stemming from pregnancy envy, I would ask the same. I can't remember why we were talking, the point I was trying to make, but love you. I know these aren't ideal vlogging conditions, but we're gonna get through it. The economist Tyler Cohen is calling this our generation's World War II moment, which I found to be a bummer. It's a bummer analogy because say what you want about World War II, but it was a social event. Ask any veteran, he will tell you that he made some serious friends, some serious lifelong friends in that war. And yeah, anybody who contributed to the war effort got to call themselves part of the greatest generation. And that was a term popularized by Tom Brokaw because the people who participated in the war did it not for recognition, but because it was the right thing to do. These days, though, recognition takes precedent, but people will do the right thing if they get recognition. And right now the right thing to do is to stay inside. So people are creating content about staying inside for recognition. So I guess that's what this entry has been. So yeah, like, share, and subscribe. The born aristocrats of the mind are not in too much of a hurry. Their creations appear and fall from the tree on some quiet autumn evening without being rashly desired, instigated, or pushed aside by new matter. The unceasing desire to create is vulgar and betrays envy, jealousy, and ambition.